Welcome to another Asa Abloy Academy webinar. Today's webinar is going to be on Corbin Russwin and how to order their products. My name is Russell Corriveau and I will be your lead instructor today. During this session, your lines will be muted. However, you can pose questions as we go along using the question answer icon at the bottom of the page. And we will reserve time at the end of the presentation if there are any questions. Within 24 hours, you will receive an email from Asa Abloy Academy as proof of your attendance for this webinar that can be submitted to your employer or one of the industry association partners, such as DHI or LOA for CEUs. Also, within 24 hours, this video will be available on Asa Abloy Academy website if you would like to review it. And keep in mind, we have over 50 online courses available at Asa Abloy Academy that are at no cost. And we cover everything from doors, frames, access control to hardware. So let's get started with Corbin Russwin and how to order Corbin Russwin. I always think it's a good idea to show you where the facility is, and that's the facility in Berlin, Connecticut. It's a huge facility. They're a full-line manufacturer, but they did a nice job with their product lines and how the nomenclature for them. And that's what we're going to run over now. Okay, to start with, when it comes to Mortise Locks, they have one series of Mortise Locks, and it's the ML2000 series. So anytime you see the first two letters of ML, it's always going to be a Mortise Lock. So the first two letters with Corbin Russwin always represents the type of product it is. And the second two digits would be the series. So this is the 20 series. For cylindrical locks, the first two digits will always be CL. And here they have 4 different series. For knob locks, so when you see CK, you know it's a knob lock. For unit locks, so if you see a UT52, then you know it's a unit lock. So it does make it a lot easier to know their products. For deadlock, it's DL. There is a certain logic behind each one of them. And for their padlocks, that's P, or PL, excuse me. And once again, for exit devices, it's E core for exit devices. And here they offer a huge variety. And keep in mind the second, so ED represents exit device. The first digit represents the series, and the second digit represents the type of exit device it is. Okay, and door closers. And of course, door closers is going to be DC for door closers. And here they do, the first letter represents the series. The second letter represents how it's going to be mounted. And the fourth digit, the fourth number, is going to say if it's sized or unsized. Anytime you have electrified products from Corbin Russwin, you can always tell because the part numbers are different than the standard. For example, if you buy an NAC lock, you're going to find a 6 between the 8200, or excuse me, between the 2000 series and then the function number. For electrified products with motors, you're going to find an 8 there. And for solenoid operated products, you'll find a 9 between the series and the function number. So it makes it easy to identify that this is electrified products. So quickly going over the nomenclature for the different miscellaneous options they offer, they're always going to start off with an M, such as M54 would represent sex, nuts, and bolts. The nice thing is for their quick codes or miscellaneous codes, the first letter represents what it's talking about. So for example, if you see a W, here we're talking about the door width. So if you need a 48-inch wide door width, it would be a W048. Their standard door width is a 36-inch rail, and nothing needs to be specified for that. But if you need it for a 48-inch rail, then you would have to specify that. The H is going to represent the height of the door. Okay, so once again, you do need to specify your door height, such as H1000 for a 10-foot door or H0800 for an 8-foot door. When it comes to strikes, an SS strike is a straight lip strike and an SA strike is a curved lip strike. Okay, just want you to be aware of it that Corbin Russwin's standard strike for their Mortise lock is a straight lip 1 1/8 inch straight lip strike. Okay. When it comes to door close arms, A specifies the type of arm it is. So when you see an A3, that's going to be a heavy-duty parallel arm. So here they are all quickly. M miscellaneous codes, W for door width, H for height, S for a special strike, D for a door thickness, and A for an arm, for a special arm. Another thing you'll find interesting is if you're looking for electromechanical products, you are going to find those in the mechanical catalogs. Okay, so whether you're looking for electric latch retraction or a solenoid operated trim, you're always going to find that in the mechanical catalog. They do have separate catalogs for their access control products, but for the standard electromechanical products, those are going to be in the standard catalogs. Corbin Russwin does use standard function numbers. The last two digits always represent the function numbers, and they do remain consistent. So if the last two digits are a 10, it means a passage function. If it's a 20, it means it's a privacy function. If it's a 51, it's an entrance. 55 is a classroom, and 57 is a storeroom, and that remains consistent. So in our examples here, if you needed a cylindrical lock with a passage function, it would be a CL3310. If it was a mortise lock, it would be the ML2010. And if it was the exit device trim, then it's going to be, in this case, the N stands for a Newport lever, and the 9 stands for the 900 series trim, and the last two digits represent the function. Another clever thing they did is we just talked about the last two digits represent the function. But if you have a 0 as your last digit, it means it does not have any cylinders at all. If the last digit is a 1, a 3, a 4, a 9, or an 8, then it's going to have a single cylinder. And if the last digit is a 2, then it's going to have 2 cylinders, and there's one exception to that, and that's the ML7087. But it's a nice way of knowing how many cylinders right off the bat the product has. So let's take a look at how you at the product and how it's laid out in the catalog. So here we're looking at an order string. So at the top of the page is the order string. AA1 means that they want it to be master code, master keyed. CL is standing for a cylindrical lock. The 3300 is the 3300 series. That's their grade 1 heavy duty lock. The 51 represents the function. And because the last digit is a 1, you know it's a single cylinder function. Okay. And with them, they offer a wide variety of cylindrical locks, and all the cylindrical locks are going to be ordered the same way. So here is the cylindrical lock catalog for the CL3100. And what I'm pointing out here is that each series has its own catalog. They don't have one catalog that has all the series in it. Each series has its own catalog. So the CL3100, the CL3300, the CL3500, and just really quick, the CL3300 and these three that I just showed you are all grade 1 locks. The only difference is with the CL3100, this lever is rigid when the door is locked. With the CL3300, the lever is freewheeling. On the CL3300, the lever is freewheeling. And with the CL3500, it's rigid again. Okay, so they give you the option on whether you wanted it to be freewheeling or rigid. Then they have the CL3800, which is their grade 2 lock. Then they have their knob locks, and all their locks are going to be ordered the same way. Okay, and so here's the CL3700 series. This is a tubular design. And here's the TL, the 3700. So that's the base product for it. Here I'm showing you the list of the different functions they have available. So here they give you a drawing of what it looks like. The second column always represents the function number. The third column is the type of product it is. The fourth column is the ANSI cross-reference number. This is great for cross-referencing between various manufacturers. And lastly, how the lock functions. Okay, so this is the base product. The CL represents the cylindrical lock. The CL, or the 3300, is the 3300 series lock, and a 55 would be a classroom function. Once again, if you saw a 9 here, then that would be telling you that it was going to be electrified. And if it was a 903, it would be a fail-safe. And if it was a 905, it would be a fail-secure. Okay. As I mentioned before, with Corbin Russwin, they always specify the lever design first, then the base material for the lever design, then the rose. So in this case here, they're calling out an N, which is a Newport lever. Z represents a zinc lever handle, and the D is the D rose, and that's their standard rose for their CL 3300 series, and that's the only rose they offer. Okay. So once again, it's always the lever followed by the rose. Next is the finish, and they do, with their cylindrical locks, they are going to be zinc levers finished to match the BHMA finishes. But when it comes to mortise locks and exit devices, they are true BHMA finishes. And they do offer the full variety of different finishes in both the brass and the bronze, and the nickel and the chrome finishes. Even though many of these locks are non-handed, you always want to specify the hand when ordering the product. Because order entry, they're told always get a hand for every product, because there are so many different products, they don't know what products are handed or not. So they're told get a hand for every product, and therefore there never leads to another question afterwards. D, as we know, D stands for the door thickness. Our standard door thickness in this industry is 1 3/4 inches and does not need to be specified if it's going on a 1 3/4 inches thick door. But if it's going on a thicker door, such as a 2 1/4 inch thick door, you're going to specify D 214. For the back set, our standard back set for our cylindrical locks is 2 3/4 inches, but if you need a different back set, you do need to specify that. So for a standard, you never need to specify it. But if you're looking for a special back set, you do need to specify it. And here they're looking for a 3 3/4 inch back set, so that's specified as a B334. Next, they're calling out the strike that they're looking for. They're looking for the curved lip box strike, which I'm showing you at the bottom. As I mentioned before, for their cylindrical locks, their standard strike is going to be a full-size curved lip strike with an inch and an 1 1/4 inch lip on it. And that dimension is taken from the center line of the mounting holes to the end of the lip on the strike. So here they are asking for a special strike. And next, the quick codes. MO2 stands for spanner head screws. And these are spanner head screws, but to show you some of the other options available, if you needed torque head screws, that would be an MO4. If you wanted your lever to accept either 6 or 7 pin small format interchangeable cores, then you would specify MO8. And the nice thing with Corbin Russwin is that the levers will accept both 6 and 7 pin small format interchangeable cores. If you want your CL 3300 to accept a Sargent cylinder, then that would be specified as an M09. If you needed to accept Schlag's large format interchangeable core cylinders, it would be M69. So you see they offer a wide variety of different options. And lastly, if you're looking for a wrought box strike, that's going to be an M17. They do offer a variety of different handicap warnings. Handicap warnings are these mill marks on the inside of the lever. It's designed to warn handicapped people that there's something dangerous on the other side of the door and that they should be aware that there is something dangerous and not to rush through the doors. So you can get it with milled marks like you see here, either on the inside and outside, outside only or inside only, but it's also available as an abrasive coating. So you can also get that for inside, outside, or both. Lastly here, we want it to be master keyed, and we do want some visual key control on it. So here we're specifying VKC3, and here it's going to be cylinders only, and they're going to be control on it, markings on it, so you know what cylinder it is. Okay, next, let's take a look at how you would price this out. So here we have the 2020 price book for Corbin Russwin. When you pull up the price book, you see it's broken up into different categories. So here's the key systems, the accessory locks or access locks, the mortise locks, specialty hardware, and cylindrical locks. That's what we're looking for. And we're looking for the CL 3300 series, which is going to be on page 162. Taking a quick look at the opposite page, here are the unit locks, the auxiliary locks, the multi-point locks, exit devices, door closers, and then just parts. So it's broken up. This is the table of contents. This is the first place you should go to find out where you need to look for your price. So we decided we were going to go off to the page, and here we are on page 162, which is the matching for 163. And remember, the first thing we're looking for when we're looking at the pages is we want to find the correct series. This is the product we're going to price out. It's going to be a CL3351 Newport zinc lever D Rose 626 left-hand reverse bevel for a 2 1/4 inch thick door with a 3 3/4 inch back set with a special strike MO2 screws, and they want to order it less cylinder. So the first thing you want to make sure you're always on the correct page. Once you've determined you're on the correct page, which we are because we're on the CL3300, the first thing you want to consider is what is the lever and rose design do you have? And in this case, they have the NZD lever. So we are correct in this page here. And the next thing to consider is what finish do they have? They have 626 finish. And as you can see here, the finishes are broken up into 2 columns. Okay, so here are the 2 columns the finishes are broken up into. So your price is going to be based on one of these 2 base finishes. So we're in the first column. And since the customer is looking for a CL3351, it's an entrance function. So our base price for this entrance function with a 626 finish is going to be $680. The next things we have to consider are the options. So remember, they wanted a special door thickness for this. The standard was 1 3/4 inches, but even for a 2 1/4 inch thick door, there is no upcharge for that. So there's no upcharge for that. Next, we wanted a special back set. They wanted a 3 3/4 inch back set. This does have a $15 upcharge. So we're going to add that to the base price. And next, they wanted a special strike, which it's the C114, and there is no upcharge for that, as you can see here. So next, we need to consider the miscellaneous codes. MO2 is the first one we're looking at. That's going to be a $21 per lock. Add to it. So we added $21. And lastly, we need to consider the last option, which is less cylinder. They want to order the product less cylinder because they're using someone else's cylinders. And it's an $86 discount on it because Corbin Russwin includes cylinders with their cylindrical locks, and that's why it's a huge discount, because you're saving that money. So for the grand total for this lock is going to be $630. That's how you figure out the base list price for it. Let's take a quick look at Mortise Locks. A lot of the same things follow true for what we've just covered. So with Mortise Locks, ML stands for the Mortise Locks, the 2 stands for the 2000, or the 20 stands for the 2000 series, and the 55 is the classroom function, and that's the function number, as you see right here. I just want to talk about the EcoFlex technology that they've incorporated into their electrified Mortise lock. First off, it reduces energy consumption up to 96% with fail-safe locks. It's now field configurable between fail-safe and fail-secure. You are still going to be ordering it as a fail-safe or a fail-secure lock, but if you happen to order the wrong thing, you can switch it in the field by just moving a tiny little switch, which is quite easy. Next, you want to it will operate on 12 or 24 volts right out of the box, so it gives you a lot more variation. You don't have to worry about the voltage so much. And remember, if you need a fail-safe lock, it's going to be a 20906, and if it's a fail-secure, it's going to be an ML29. It's going to be a 903 or a 906. Fail-safe is a 903. I apologize. So that's how you'd specify an electrified product. Next, here, because it's a Mortise lock, this middle number, the middle digit means something different. Once again, the first letter always represents the lever design. So in this case, it's an L lever for a lustre lever. The W stands for how it's manufactured, how the lever is manufactured. And they have 2 different ways of manufacturing just a couple of their levers. And one of the levers they have this is the lustre lever. Okay. So the second digit is going to mean it's either going to be raw or cast. Okay. So you're probably saying, what's the difference between raw and cast? What I'm saying is they have the same lever designs in either a raw design or a cast design. Okay. Cast designs are solid and they're much heavier, while wrought designs are going to be hollow and they're going to be lighter, so they're going to be the less expensive ones. Corbin Russwin only has 2 levers that are both wrought and cast. The remaining of all their levers are all cast, which means they're heavy and solid levers. So only 2 levers are available, and that's the lustre lever and the Regis that's available as wrought. Next is the finish. As I mentioned, they do supply true BHMA finishes. 626 is a satin chrome finish. And they do offer a wide variety of finishes. Once again, you always want to specify the hand. And here we're specifying a right hand reverse bevel. And they did want a special door thickness. What I'm showing you here is for a standard 1 3/4 inch door thickness. Nothing needs to be specified. But since they specified D214, you do need to specify that because it won't fit on the door unless you specify D214. Next is the strike. The standard strike is 1 1/8" flat lip strike, as I mentioned before. But in this case here, they wanted a curved lip strike, which is going to be the SA200, and that will give you a 2-inch lip length. Next is the miscellaneous code. M17 is the wrought box strike. This is the wrought box strike, and this actually goes behind the strike in a frame that doesn't have a mortar box there. And if you've never seen one, most frames nowadays will come with mortar boxes behind the strike opening. But if there's no mortar box there, you should be ordering these wrought box strikes, because this is what it looks like when there's not a mortar box behind the strike. You can see all the construction and everything, and it looks really lousy. Okay, once again, quick codes, you can get MO2 or MO4 for security head screws. They do offer a wide variety of indicators, and here I'm just showing you a few of the different indicators. These are the indicators they've had around for some time. Okay, and once again, we spoke about the handicap warnings. Once again, they're available on Mortise locks as well as the cylindrical locks. What this is M26 is a very unusual option, but this is a non-ferrous lock case. And this would be used in a high corrosive environment or in a marine atmosphere, because it's a non-corrosive lock case because it's not made out of steel. If you ever need lead lining on your lock case, that's going to be an M29. And if you need laser engraving, that's going to be, it's spelled out laser, L-A-L-S-E-R. So if you want laser engraving, you just write out laser. Corbin Russwin has developed some new thumb turns for lately. What I'm showing you here on the left are their standard thumb turns. They're either going to be cast bronze or brass, and they've had these for some time. But they've come out with a new thumb turn, and that's the piece that you actually rotate. The MT1 is the actual piece that you rotate. What's going to change on here is the back plate. So depending on the rose design that you order, it's going to change the back plate. So if you order a square rose, you will get a square back plate. If you order a round rose, you will get a round back plate. So this is the MT1. Okay. And that would come with that there if you order a square rose. The next one is the MT2. This has more of a rectangle on it. Once again, it will match the back plate. And they also came out with the MT3, which is more as a cylinder shaped. But once again, the back plate is going to change. And indicators are becoming bigger and bigger in today's society, so they have developed some new indicators. I just wanted you to take a quick look at them now.
Introducing the new status indicator option for Mortise Locks from Assa Abloy Group brands Corbin Russwin and Sargent. This new offering is compatible with the industry-leading Corbin Russwin ML2000 series and Sargent 8200 series Mortise Locks. This status indicator has a viewing window 25% larger than industry norms, which clearly shows whether the door is locked or unlocked, occupied or vacant, with text, color, and symbols. With a large window prominently placed for maximum visibility, the status indicator provides instant reassurance and security you can see. The indicator option accommodates many applications within commercial environments, including gender-neutral restrooms, private areas for nursing mothers, and quiet rooms for employee meditation and mindfulness. By informing users that the room is in use before they attempt to enter, the status indicator prevents interruption or awkwardness. Also ideal for classrooms, the status indicator allows for easy confirmation that the door is secured in emergency or lockdown situations. Optional engraving further reinforces which direction to turn the key or thumb turn for locking. The patent-pending curved design allows visibility up to 180 degrees, confirming that the door is locked from any angle. Also, a reflective coating on the indicator window allows for visibility in low light conditions, providing peace of mind that the door is locked and secure. With retrofitting capabilities, you can easily upgrade any current Corbin Russwin or Sargent Mortise lock to include the status indicator, minimizing installation time and labor costs. The upgrade utilizes the existing door prep, leaving no exposed holes, and a lock that is long-lasting and secure. The status indicator can also be customized to suit your needs. With custom engraving and a variety of colors, fonts, and icons for the indicator window, you can easily provide added security without limiting design. This new option from Corbin Russwin and Sargent offers a solution for a multitude of applications from classrooms to commercial spaces, giving you security at a glance. For more information on
one nice thing with Corbin Russwin is they do give you a nice plastic template. So if you're trying to retrofit an existing hardware, they do give you this nice plastic template that makes it a lot easier. So with this indicator, you can order it for just outside of the door. So if here, the V10, V20, V30, this would give you an indicator just for the outside of the door, and there it tells you what it's going to be written on it and the color. If you need an indicator just for the inside of the door, then it's going to be a VO1, a VO3, a VO4. And then once again, if you need a double indicator, you want indicators on both sides of the door, then it's going to be a V11, V21, V33. And this is going to change what's written on it and the colors you want on it. So you can choose exactly what you're looking for this. And lastly, they did mention if you want it engraved, you can also get it engraved by specifying EMA for the outside, EMB for the inside engraving, or EMC for both the inside and outside. And just to give you an idea how this would be ordered, so here, if they were using it with a rose, if you were using it as escutcheon trim, or not as a full escutcheon, but as for sectional trim, it would be an ML 2002. This is the function number. NS is going to be the lever design. S is telling you that it's cast. A is telling you that a rose that they want on it for a right-hand door. And the VO1 is telling you the indicator that they want on it. You can also buy this as a full escutcheon. So if you're buying it as a full escutcheon, in this case here we're specifying an NS lever once again, but the escutcheon is the VN1 or the VN escutcheon. And at the very end, you're going to specify what quick code you want. And here within V21, they're specifying a quick code for the inside the door and the outside of the door, but they only want engraving on the inside of the door. And that's what they're specifying with the EMB. Okay. Next is the cylinder. Here they're calling out they want a 7-pin C7, which is a 7-pin interchangeable core. And they want it master keyed. And they do want visual key control. So let's price out let's price out this product. So we're looking for a master keyed ML 2055 classroom function. L, we want it to be the wrought A rose design. 626 will be the finish for a right-hand reverse bevel door for a 2 1/4 inch thick door with a special strike and a few options. So let's take a look at the catalog. So the first thing you're going to look for is you want to go to the correct page, which we're on the ML 2000, and you want to look for your lever and rose design. Here we're calling it an LWA. And there is the LWA. The LWA is in this first column here. Okay, so you can see that the different escutcheons, each different type of escutcheon has its own column. The next thing you want to figure out is what finish you have, because you notice that first grouping is broken up into 2 columns. The first one is 613E, 626, black suede powder coat and white suede powder coat are all going to be in that first column, while the second column is going to contain the balance of the finishes. So 626 is satin chrome, so we're in the first column. Taking a closer look at it, now we have to consider the function. So in this first column, the function number is an ML2055. So our base price for this is going to be $837. Okay, so always find the lever and rose design first, followed by the finish, then the function. Okay, so $837 is our base price. Next, we need to look at the quick codes. Okay, remember 1 3/4 inch is standard. If they need it for a 2 1/4 inch thick door, you do need to specify it, but there is no upcharge for it, which is nice. So no upcharge. The next quick code we're looking at is the special strike. An SA200 strike has a $17 upcharge. So we'll be adding $17 to our base price, and there was no charge for the extra door thickness. Now we're going to check out our miscellaneous codes. M17 is for the wrought box strike, so there is no upcharge for that, so they do want the wrought box strike. And they're ordering M26, which is the non-ferrous lock case. This is, once again, would be in areas used with a lot of chlorine or a high corrosive environment. And that's going to be $277 added to the price. $272, sorry. Okay, moving on. Remember, they wanted a small format interchangeable core. Actually, I was thinking it said, sorry, we're going to treat this as a P7. It's the 7-pin. That's what I thought it was when I wrote this up. You don't want to make a pricing error like this. So a C7 is a small format interchangeable core, and the pricing showing here, it should have been a P7, and there it would have a $2 upcharge. So we're going to assume that it was a 7P. And lastly, they do want it master keyed. So there is going to be a $16 upcharge per cylinder to have it master keyed. Okay, and they do want visual key control on it, and that's going to be $8 per cylinder. So these have to be added in. So these have to be added in. So we have the $2 per cylinder for the 7-pin cylinder, $16 for the master keying, and $8 for marking of the thing, for a grand total of $1152. Okay. Let's continue on with door closers. So once again, the base product is for door closers is the DC. The 8200 is their primary series, but they do offer a wide variety of other series. They offer the DC 3000, the DC 5000, and the DC 6000. Just like our locks, if there is a 9 between the series and the function number, that means it's electrified. And these are electromechanical closers that you see down here. So when the last 2 digits are going to be a 0, or excuse me, when the third digit is going to be a 0, that means it's going to be a regular arm mount. So a regular arm mount. So it's a DC, 8200 is the series. The 0 means it's going to be a regular arm mount. If it's an 8210, then it's a parallel arm mount. So the third digit represents how it's going to be mounted. If it's an 8220, that means it's going to be top jam. Top jam for an 8220. If you wanted a track on the pull side, then it's going to be a DC 8230. And if it's going to be on the push side, then it's going to be a DC 8240 for the push side. Okay. Keep in mind, if you want to order a special arm, such as this arm for a special deep reveal, then it's going to be an A6. And here is the finish. Here they're asking for a powder-coated finish, which is 689, which is silver aluminum, for a right-hand reverse bevel door. And lastly, the options. So the first option is the delayed action option. That holds the door open for an extended period of time. That's an M71. And they wanted a full metal cover on it, so that's going to be an M73 for a full metal cover. Okay, so let's figure out the base price for this product here. So here we're in the door closer catalog. First thing that we want to make sure we're on the right series, so we're in the DC 8000 series. And the first thing that we're going to consider is how do we want it mounted. So when we're looking at that, let's take a closer look. A DC 8210, right here we see it's a parallel arm mount. And that's going to be $599 for a $689 finish, which is what's going to be requested. So our base price is going to be $599 is going to be our base price. Okay. The next thing we have to consider is what our options are. They are requesting a special arm here. So a 2A arm, that's going to be a $95 upcharge. So we're going to add $95 to the base price. And next we have to consider our options. Our options are the delayed action, which is a $44 per upcharge. And they wanted the 75, which is the corrosion protection, and that was $42 upcharge. And that gives us a grand total of $780. Hopefully this is making sense to you. You just have to look for the information. $780. And we got one more to do, and that's going to be the exit devices. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at exit devices. So right now, this ordering string right now is calling out a master key, and here they want an exit device ED. 5 is a 5000 series. This is what a 5000 series exit device looks like. And the 4000 series is their sister exit device. This is what the 4000 series looks like. So that's the sister lock to the ED5000. Then they have a crossbar series, which is the 3000 series. Then they also have the 7000 series. And they have the ED8000 series. So they offer a wide variety of different series. The second digit is going to represent the type of exit device it is. So if the second digit, as you see here, if the second digit is a 2, it's a rim exit device. If there's a 2 and there's an S at the end, that means it's a secure bolt. If the second digit is a 6, that means it's a mortise lock exit device. If it's a 4, it means it's surface vertical rod. And if it's an 8, it means it's a concealed vertical rod. So this is how you list out the base product that you're looking for. Next, we have to consider the trim. So here the customer is calling out a C955. So C represents the lever design. So here's the citation lever. And this trim is the 900 series trim. And there's the C55 is the function number that we're looking for. I also want to point out that they did incorporate EcoFlex technology into the 900 series trim, which means it's very, very energy efficient. It will operate on 12 or 24 volts right out of the box. It has an internal rectifier, so it can be used on AC or DC current. It is freewheeling when it is in the locked position. Key override is standard. And this is field selectable between fail-safe and fail-secure now. Okay, they did incorporate fail-safe, fail-secure. So it is, okay, and it's very energy efficient. So the finish they're looking for is going to be 630, which is going to be satin stainless steel. Next, for a left-hand reverse bevel door, they wanted a special door height. H1000 stands for a 10-foot door height. So here we're looking at the 10-foot door height, and they wanted it for a 48-inch wide door. So that's a W48. And then the quick codes. M52 is cylinder dogging, and M54 is sex nuts and bolts. One thing I need to make you aware of right now is that Corbin Russwin does not include cylinders with their exit devices. They do include cylinders with their mortise locks and cylindrical locks, but with their exit devices, cylinders are not included. So in this case here, we're already looking at 2 cylinders. The C955 is a classroom function, which means the key on the outside locks and unlocks it. And now since they want cylinder dogging, the M52, that's going to be 2 cylinders they're going to need for this. Corbin Russwin does offer a full variety of electrified products, including motorized electric latch retraction. They also have an alarmed exit device. You can get it with bolt monitoring or latch bolt monitoring. That's an M91. If you're looking for touch bar monitoring, also known as request to exit switch, that's an M92. They also have trim monitoring, which monitors the outside lever. That's an M93. They also have fail-safe and fail-secure trim, and this would be for the Mortise lock. Okay, so notice here, the SAF and the SEC, this is when you need electrified trim for the Mortise lock. The solenoid is now incorporated into the Mortise lock and not into the trim. If you need solenoid operated trim for any of the other exit devices other than Mortise locks, you want to be ordering it as part of the trim as a 900, 903 or 905. But for Mortise lock exit devices, it's ordered as part of the Mortise lock itself as an SAF or an SEC. They also have electrified trim. And here they want it 7-pin. So 7P is 7-pin. And they do want it master keyed. And ASA ABLOY puts out this great master keying design guide that can be very, very useful if you're not familiar with how key systems are laid out. So let's figure out the base product for our exit device here. So we're going to the price book. And once again, we're always going to go to the table of contents to start with. So we're at the table of contents. And now we want to go to the exit device area. So we're at the ED5000 series page. If you look here, there's the ED5000 series. There's the secure bolt right up at the top. Then you have the standard rim exit devices. These are the surface vertical rod exit devices. These are all the Mortise lock exit devices. And these are concealed vertical rod exit devices. So they're broken up based on the type of exit device that they want. So in our example here, they wanted an ED5400 with a 70. Okay, the ED5400 is a surface vertical rod, and the 70 means that it's going to be needed on a taller than an 8-foot door. So that's why they had to specify the 70 for the 10-foot door. That's why it's an ED5470, because it's a 10-foot door. If it was an 8-foot door, then they could have gone with the ED5400. So there is going to be our base price that you see right here of going to be $22.66 is our base price. So ED5400 with the finish we're looking for. So once again, we're in the first column right here. And once you crisscross the lines, our base price is $22.66 will be our base price. Next, you need to consider the different options. So this is an option, but you also have to add in the trim. So next you go to the trim page, and here we're looking for a citation lever, the 900 series. And once again, as you see, all of these finishes are grouped the same. So we're looking for a C955ET, which is a classroom function. So that's going to be a 733 is going to be our base price. 733. There. Finish. So once again, 733 is going to be our base price. We add that to the base price for the exit device itself. Now we have to consider the door height. Here they wanted a 10-foot door height, so we need to take that into consideration. For a 10-foot door height, this is going to be an $86 add. So you add $86 for the door height. Also a special door thickness, which is going to be 48 inches. So you need to specify W48, and that's going to be a $37 add per exit device. Okay. The next ones we need to consider are our quick codes. So M52 is going to be our cylinder dogging. In this case here, as you can tell by the $82 cylinder dogging, it does, I'm pretty sure it does not include the price of the cylinder. So this is to get it installed to accept a cylinder for cylinder dogging. That's an $82 upcharge, which you'll be adding on. And the M54, which is the sex nuts and bolts, there is no upcharge for. Okay, so this is going to give us our base price for this product, but we also have to consider the keying for this. And remember, we had 2 cylinders, and a conventional 7-pin cylinder is going to be $95 per cylinder because cylinders are not included with it. And we've already determined that we needed 2 cylinders, so we're adding $95 twice for the 2 cylinders. Then, since we want it master keyed, and once again, master keying is going to be $16 per cylinder, so we had to add $16 twice. And lastly, and that's going to give us our base price of $34.26. So basically, you figure out the base price for the exit device, base price for the trim, and then you have to consider your options. And that brings us to the end of this presentation. I'm going to open this up to see if anyone has any questions. Hello. Okay, looking here. At this point, it doesn't appear that we have any questions. If there are no questions, I really appreciate everyone taking the time and joining me here for this webinar this afternoon. If you have any questions, I'll wait a moment to give you a chance to write them down. Other than that, stay healthy, and thank you very much for your time, and have a great week.